Hey everybody, what's up? Hope everybody's having a good end of their weekend. So I say hi real quick. Can you first give me an audio check, please? Had an issue the other day. I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. Somebody give me a thumbs up, kiss my butt, something. Alright, cool. Gotcha. Alright, let me say hi real quick. Hey, Rock. Good to see you. G513, good to see you. George, what's up? Michael, what's going on? Jerry, hey, good to see you. Hi to George again. Garrison. Beckinator. Arizona. Best logo right there, guys. May, what's up? Marty. Rob Rebel, good to see you. Lori. Joni. Tam. Paula, good to see you, girl. Kathy, Dolores, Anna, hey, good to see you. Angelo, holding it down in the Bronx for us, baby. You guys allowed to eat outside yet, or eat inside? That stupid rule go away yet? I don't know if it did or not, but I hope it does. I seen a report where there were two 90-year-old women eating outside in that cold weather just because they were sick and tired of bending to all the rules. Kind of crazy. They're making old people do that. Ridiculous. But anyway. Penny, good to see you. Julie. Grandma JJ, hey, what's up? Pascaline, Garrison, good to see everybody, guys. Linda, good to see you. Allie, what's up? Laura, William. Alright, guys. Yeah, so I'm just going to kind of get into it. Hope everybody's having a great one. Hey, Jill, what's up? Brenda, good to see you. Toluca, Garrison, okay, yeah, cool. Glad everybody's in here. Let me check my stream health real quick. Let's see here. It says it's good right now, so we're good. We are good. So yeah, before we get into this, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and put my PayPal link down in there, guys. That way I ain't gotta talk about it again. There it is. If you guys want to help me out, great. Hey Jeff, what's up, buddy? If not, all's cool. You know, it's never expected. I didn't even start doing that until a few months back. You know, but if you want to help, cool. If not, all's good. Never expected, always greatly appreciated. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. People would, you know, think of me enough as to actually do something like that. A shout out to Bob Dobbs again. He sent me something through my P.O. box. I got your letter, bud. If you're listening to this, I said it yesterday too. I'm not sure if you heard me or not. I much appreciate the letter, I really do. So, and he also donated in there too. So, thanks, guys. I really appreciate all that, Bob. Special shout out to you. So, yeah. Hey, Pam. Good to see you, Stephanie. Julie, what's up? Okay, so Schumann resonance. Not much going on here, guys. Things are kind of actually a little bit quiet on this front right now. Again, here's your 20 hertz thing still hanging in there. The 783 is there. People that don't know what this is the heartbeat of the Earth. It's our vibrational frequency, and the one that's constantly there and has been is 7.83 hertz, and that's really what our human bodies kind of require to kind of stay at status quo. They will put this frequency into the space stations, any kind of spacecraft, people that work underground. If not, they get what they call space sickness, and they start going crazy, doing crazy things. So, if you guys don't completely understand what this is, there's a channel called Verte Alberto's channel. I promote him quite a bit. He knows exactly what he's talking about when it comes to this tool. He knows to tell you what exactly this tool is representing. He's much smarter on that than what I am on this thing. I'm not as well versed on what the actual technical parts of this tool is, but he is. And believe it or not, it is actually kind of a complicated thing to kind of understand. I got a basic comprehension of it, enough to know that this is everything and it affects everything. So just take that in consideration. Heart doctors in general are now taking this into consideration when they're diagnosing their patients. Or even doing surgeries, because it affects things. It can affect your health. But don't, if you're getting ringing in your ears and stuff like that, that's one of the most common things people feel and see. You know, headaches sometimes, rapid heartbeat, all that can be caused from this, but please eliminate physical ailments first before you go blaming everything on this. I just don't think it's responsible to, you know, just not even talk to your doctor about whatever issue you're having. Because, you know, at the end of the day, you want to make sure you're on the right path there. You know, and then especially if it's serious. If you're having heart pains and not going to the doctor because you think this is what's causing it, go to the doctor first. Rule it out, please. Because, yeah, I would hate to see somebody take this and this be their doctor. It's not the replace of your doctor. It's just a tool that we can use to kind of understand what's going on. So just know that. But that's why I report on this. When this thing starts going crazy, this is where we're going to see SHTF first. Okay? First, this is where we're going to see it, guys. When this thing just gets all crazy and doesn't go back to the way that it was, or at least somewhat sort of a normal thing, this is where you're going to see it first. Okay, space weather. Here's solar X-ray flux. This is what we look at for solar flares. That's what happens when a flare pops off the sun. It is X-ray and it shoots our direction if it's facing us. It's here and gone in less than 8 minutes. Well, rather a little over 8 minutes, I should say. So yeah. And you know, when that happens, most people think that that's the main concern, and it's not. Usually the main concern is the CME that follows a large flare. They're two different things because they can happen without each other. But oftentimes they happen simultaneously. A lot of times you'll see the flare and then it'll disrupt that area so bad that you'll have a CME with it and the sun erupts. That takes anywhere between, I say nowadays, I'm saying like 2.5 days to like 5. Because the faster moving ones, they do get here before 3 days sometimes. So, hey Dale, what's up? What's up, Dale? Pam Sydney, good to see you. So, the solar proton flux, guys, is what we look at for radiation storms. We very seldom see these. Okay, this doesn't really usually move a whole lot. And the more concern for this would be like astronauts, people that are flying at high altitudes and high latitudes. The high latitudes means you're flying closer to the poles, further away from the equator. And the reason why is because the closer you get to the poles, that's where all the geomagnetic activity and everything comes in easier. It's drug into our system easier there. That's why the danger is there. Also, the ozone is typically a little bit weaker there also, or thinner, or even a hole, period, just a hole. Hey Taylor, what's up? Trish, Tell, what's up? Yoga, hey Keith. Queen Bee? Queen Brat is what you're calling her there, but I think it's Queen Bee, right? I'm not sure. Hey Axe, what's up? Nemesis, what's happening? Alright, so geomagnetic activity. You can see we're kind of having a little fluctuation of things going on right here. Now, right here, guys, they were predicting January 25th here at spaceweather.com a solar wind stream from that sunspot I was showing you guys. Okay, it is this one. Okay, it's rotated away. All right, so we were connected to it over here a couple days ago, and that's why they're saying we're going to have an uptick. Now, whether that completely materializes or not, I'm not for sure. We'll have to wait and see, because sometimes it misses us. Also, we had a couple little like filament releases that could be impacting us then too. Now, those look like they could miss us. All right, I'll say that first and foremost. But sometimes we're wrong, and we've seen it be wrong, you know, as of late. But this coronal hole stream, I think, may be impacting us like right now. And what I mean by that is, you know, we're seeing a fluctuation here a little bit. But here on the ACE data, things started getting a little crazy right here. And maybe I shouldn't use the word crazy, because that kind of insinuates bad stuff. What I should say is we started seeing action. Things started moving. Alright? You can definitely see it here. This is the density. That's the solar wind speed itself. This is temperature. Okay, you're seeing fluctuation. And how do you know if it's fluctuation? If you go over here and you look at this graph, well, a data point on this is a dot. It's kind of like your TV. When you look at your TV, the pixels, it's a series of dots of whatever color. And our eyes see it as a complete image because of the way the TV puts it out there. It's generated that way. Well, here it's a dot. So if it sees a reading, like if you guys can see that little dot right there by my cursor, that's a reading of about 30 or 40 in the density. It just won though, but then it went right back down. So when you see like something that looks more like a straight solid line, that means that several data points were lining up right next to each other, which means that the conditions were stabilizing at that speed or density. So that's why they look straight. And then over here, it's what I call popcorn. It starts moving, fluctuating pretty good here, okay? And to understand if it's fluctuating greatly, we have to know the range over here too. This is 320 to 420. We've only got a range of 100, which is enough to say that, hey, yeah, fluctuation of 100 kilometers per second is significant enough to talk about. Density, definitely. Okay, because on solar wind speed, we're talking between 3 to 500 is normal. All right, so this is still within normal range, but it still did jump up. So as we're looking at this, the density, the normal reading we should see for density would be 4. Okay, centimeter squared, cubed. I'm sorry. But as we're looking at this, we can definitely see that it is definitely higher than 4. But if you look right here, it drops completely out. I mean, it went below 1. I mean, if it could have went to 0.0000, it would have. This is showing 0.1, and I was looking at the Australian model, and it went to 0.01. Guys, that's like virtually no density at all. We don't see that happen very often, but we've seen it today. But then we started seeing a sharp uptick. That's why we started seeing all this. Now this area here, this blacked out area on all the tools here, that is a line of sight issue that the satellite inherently has. Okay, so we get this from time to time just because of the position of the tools that's receiving the data. All right, it's not able to transmit this, so that's why we're missing this data. It's not a big deal. Nothing. I mean, you can still see a slow uptick just by drawing, connecting those dots. Now, also the few readings before and after these little blackout areas, they typically will get really high or really low, and it's a tool flaw. Okay, you can't trust that one. You just can't, because of the way it starts having that issue with line of sight, and the data gets corrupted. I think is kind of what happens there. But as far as the phi angle is up here in blue. That is the polarity of the solar wind itself. The solar wind gets here from a magnetic connection line between us and the sun. Okay, so the charged particles, which is the solar wind, has a polarity because it's charged, has a positive and a negative. So sometimes it flips, and it doesn't whenever it wants to. So when you go from like low to high real quick on this graph, that means it flipped. It went from either negative to positive and then back the other way. So this was kind of moving. Now when that does do that, sometimes we'll get a jerk on our magnetosphere. Okay, and we do see that sometimes. But it was moving too, along with all this other stuff. Now the BZ, the red line, when that gets close to -6, that's when the angle, that's what this is showing you, the angle of which it's coming in, hitting our planet or our magnetic field. Okay, so what makes it favorable for that stuff to come in at the right angle would be -6 or lower. Okay, so anything like kind of inside -6 to 0, the angle's really still kind of off. So yeah. Hey Menacing, what's up? Oh, you got water problems, huh? That sucks. Or drainage. Yeah, I hate messing with that. But anyway, the angle here, guys, is kind of jumping around a little bit too. So we got some stuff going on solar weather-wise. All right. And I'll show it to you here in just a second. But also the electron flux started, doing its thing. The magnometer was really reacting down here also. So what I think's happening is that solar wind stream is just now starting to impact us. Okay, I think that's what's happening. I look for this one. These are 3-hour increments. These bars are. Okay, I look for the next one we see. It's probably going to be a little higher. Maybe a 3 or a 4. I'm not sure, but I bet it'll either stay at the same or it will go up a little bit, I think. And their predictions here would be a 3 and a 3 up here for the 25th. This is their predictions. These numbers here are the KP numbers, which is represented right here. Now, the KP number directly relates to geomagnetic storm level. Okay, so a 5 on the KP is a G1 storm. 6 is a G2, and so on and so forth. So yeah. Excuse me. Anyway. Oh, we got people in here messing around, do we? Already? Oh yeah, cool. Yep, that's what I am. Just get them out of here, okay? That's not even a, yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's uncalled for. I don't even care. I mean, whatever, but we'll move on. So we'll just keep moving here. Man died. That's, yeah, whatever. So, we got the Enlil model, which is the NOAA model, and what we see here is the conditions at Earth are in the green line, right? So that's what we'll do. Again, conditions at stereo A is in the red line. Notice that it's got this little hump here. So that means that there was something that happened that fired off at stereo A, which is over here. At least this model seen something. We're seeing an uptick here too. Even though this looks kind of flat, remember your range over here. This is 5 right here. Remember, density, normal density is 4. Okay, so this is probably getting close to 10. Now, again, this is just a prediction model. Right here is where we're at in time. So this is historic, and this is their forecasted conditions as far as the NOAA model. Now, the NASA model hasn't updated since like the 8th, and I don't know why. That's the CME tracker model that we look at. I'm not sure why it's not, updating, but unfortunately, that's what we got to deal with. So, if we do see an uptick, and I think that we probably are, we're going to see it here in the Aurora fairly quickly. Okay, this is the North Pole, this is the South Pole, and I like this model a lot. I was just showing the North Pole because it was on that NOAA page that had all the other tools, but this one really shows both. So we'll play them both. You guys can kind of see what's going on both. The thing I like to point out on this is that on the South Pole, hey Wolfie, what's up? Hey Daniel, what's going on? TC, what's up? 555. But on the South Pole, guys, the Borealis actually shows up right over geographic south. You see that? So over here on the North Pole, you're not going to see that. And the reason why is because the magnetic north is moving faster than what magnetic south is. They're both getting drawn to each other, okay? We already know that magnetic north has already left Canada and on its way to Siberia. Now, when the event horizon number would be, most scientists agree, up to like, it's still a theory, but the 40-degree latitude, if it hits that, it's going to go ahead and do a polarity flip. Now, we talk about a magnetic pole flip, guys, and that would be catastrophic stuff that we talk about after that. Hey, Bobby, what's up? So when we do see that kind of stuff, man, I don't know. It's all theory, though, okay? It's educated theory, very, very educated theory, but none of us have been here for that, recorded history has never recorded a magnetic pole flip. You can go back and look at hieroglyphs and stuff and try to interpret those things and try to have a better understanding. But the fact of the matter is, we've not had modern historic data for this kind of an event. There is something called an equatorial bubble, and it's said to be at least that part held in by our magnetic field. And that's the water at our equator is deeper. It's a bubble. So the theory is that when we go do a pole flip, we lose our magnetic field for a period of time. So when that happens, that equatorial bubble will release. And if that happens, every coastline in the world will flood. So, just kind of keep that in mind. That's really, in my mind, that's probably going to be one of the biggest catastrophic parts of a pole flip if they're right in their theories. So just know that. And there's a lot of other things that they say is going to happen too, which I'm not going to go into today. We can talk about that later. Let's go here. Let's go ahead and I'm going to show you guys the earthquakes, because if you guys remember, like a couple videos back, remember I said we weren't having any earthquakes here? And then yesterday we had that big 6.9 down here. Well, they're saying it's a 6.9. Now, if you go over to Ron, Emergency Management Associates, they know how to read the seismos and the helioplots and stuff, and most likely it was over an 8. Okay, down here, and that, and what they showed and how they explained it, I definitely could be on board with that. All right. I just have to say. So the one we're talking about, I'm going to zoom in here. It was over water, number one. Number two, we're talking about just a little bit north of the Antarctic. All right. So there is no population down here. The islands are not habitable. Notice this red box. Okay, if we click that, this is what we see. Okay, so that's heavy. All right, it's right there. It don't get much more powerful than that. Now, they said there was no tsunami or nothing with this. I have no reason to doubt that. Okay, because obviously there's no population down here. I'm sure that they have a way to tell. There's buoys and stuff everywhere, but that was a big one, guys. And it was right. And the reason why I was telling everybody be careful of earthquakes in this region was because the day before there was absolutely none. I even showed it to you guys. I went to even the all magnitudes, which shows even the small ones. There was none down here. And there needs to be some, because there always is. So when that's not showing up, if it has like a 24-hour period with no earthquakes, we better be paying attention, and that's exactly what happened. One here, and then we even seen like a 6 something up here, I think. It was like a 5.8 or something. But there was a couple up here that were pretty substantial. But then we get this one today, not just a few hours ago. That was a 5.4 in the Virgin Islands. Okay, that's substantial for that area, guys. Now we've had multiple earthquakes here. We had a decent sized earthquake last year, and the thing hasn't stopped shaking since. Okay, we've had just tremors all the time, much like what we see, on the West Coast and up Alaska. So if I put down here one day 2.5, this is right now the last 24 hours. Okay, you're seeing even over here things are more active than what they have been. Okay, so if I put all magnitudes, look what happens. Now remember, we can see the ones in Canada. I have a site we can go to, but it's like a 30-day plot, and I'm not sure exactly where they get their information from. But make no mistake, the earthquakes don't stop at the border. Okay, I guess the USGS and the Canadian agencies don't, share information or something. I don't know. But that's, also, I want to point out this one. Okay, this one was in Burundi. Okay, But this is way away from where the typical earthquakes are happening, and I just happen to remember, check this out. Let's go. What was it here? Okay, there was one over here also that day. That was in Zambia. So we had a couple here with just in the past week way out of the way. So I don't know why. We don't typically see earthquakes there, but those are substantial size earthquakes in places we don't typically see them. So something was happening there. I don't know what it was. Obviously, I am not an earthquake prediction type of person. I don't completely understand the science behind it yet. I'm working on it. I'm getting a better understanding of it. But as of right now, I can't say with any kind of certainty that, you know, I could give you a definite, hey, that's why, that kind of thing. Again, I would push you guys over to, hey, Sid, what's up, Daniel? Hey, Teresa, good to see you. Said hi to you, Taylor, already. Good to see you. Ken, what's up? Julie, hi again. But yeah, guys, I mean, I can't, you know, with any kind of confidence, you know, say, hey, this is going to happen here, there, or whatever. You know, like when I was talking about the ones down here, I even said, guys, I'm not the earthquake guy, but I can tell when we're not having quakes where we usually do. And I even, what was funny about it is I was circling just like this with my mouse. I went back and looked at my live stream, and sure enough, that's where all the big ones happened. It's just pure luck. It has nothing to do with anything other than just a simple observation. Thanks, Paula. Appreciate that. Hey, Keith. Good to see you. I seen you were out of the hospital, man. I emailed you back, by the way, bud. Hey, Justin. What's up? 555. Hey. Well, thank you, Grandma. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's go over here and we'll switch gears a little bit, and we'll take a look at what's going on with the magnetosphere here, okay? Let me go ahead and push play. Now, what's weird about this, guys, is we've seen this before. When you see the yellow colors on the velocity here, that means that it was slower wind. Okay, and if I take you guys back to here, this is what it did. Everything dropped out, including the density, to like nothing. And then we got blasted. And so, yeah, I don't know why, but we see that sometimes. I think kind of what it is, it's kind of like I'm going to call it a vacuum effect. It's more of a magnetic effect. It kind of pulls things back a little bit, and then it just shoots at us. We kind of see that ahead of solar wind streams sometimes. So what you're seeing here is low to high, okay? Notice how the stuff out here in the front is kind of moving around. It's fluctuating pretty decent right there, okay? But here's the density one, and actually I'm going to go ahead and update this because I recorded some stuff. I'll take you back and show you where I think that crack is at. This is the most updated one here. Let's see what it's got for us here. Okay, notice, like I said, we're starting to get that solar wind stream, I think. I really think that's what we're seeing here. We'll just have to wait and see how powerful it actually becomes. So we'll pause that one. We'll go down here and look at the density. Now, low density is white. Okay? The darker colors are the higher dense areas. So you're seeing, you know, white, and you're seeing higher density, and then here close to the end, notice how the outside went to dark, and then back to white, or a lighter color. Now, when things are moving faster, typically that means less dense, because it kind of moves, a less dense particle moves faster. So, and also sometimes they build up. So if they're dark colored like this, that means that's higher density. Notice how you can see the bow shock show up. The bow shock's the point of where the solar wind meets our magnetic field. That's all that it is. So when it looks like it disappears, watch, it'll look like it disappears. Right there. It did not disappear. Only thing that happened right there was that the density on one side of the bow shock was the same as on the other. That's all that means. Okay? The only reason why we can even see it is because when the density is different. So the bow shock didn't go down. I just want to point that out. Here's the pressure map, the pressure graph here. We'll take a look at that real quick. Let me pause that one. So again, this is just the pressure that it's showing. You can see it building. And again, usually we'll get like quite a bit of pressure during a high dense event. Now we can get them with high wind speed also, okay, especially when they're both happening. But a lot of times we'll see the pressure build and build and build with high density, and right now it doesn't look like we're having a whole lot of dense material. So let me show you what I was talking about with a crack. Now first thing I'm going to show you guys is this one. This is back on the 18th. Okay, I showed you guys this already, but I'm going to show it to you again because it's in the same spot, or roughly thereof. Okay, let me get you guys back here. Oh, what the heck is this thing doing? Anyway, we'll just do it like this. But you guys see this, right? So that's what I was talking about. And that's like, take and move this, okay? See how it's showing up right there? Okay, I wanted to show you guys that one. And now I'm going to show you today. Watch what happens. It's going to show up again up here. We'll just let it play until it gets there. I did it like 4 or 5 times in a row. We'll watch it here. See how it kind of moved though a little bit? So, and if you look over here on this side, you can even see it kind of different here too, because you're looking at a top and a side view. That's what you're seeing here. That's why they're kind of in slightly different positions. All right. But to me, that's in the front. So, yeah, that's, in my opinion, that's a weak spot in our magnetic field that's now staying there. And we started noticing it down here. If you guys remember we said it looked like a fish, and it kind of looks like a fish still, just from a different angle, because it was down here. It almost looked like a bird when it was down here. It's like it's moved over here to this area now. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I just wanted to show you guys that because it definitely is there. So I don't know, you know, I've not heard anybody else talk about this yet. I'm hoping to hear some people talk about it now. But we do know that our magnetic field is 25% weaker than what it was. And that right there, with that, it would make sense if we're going to have some sort of a weak spot for it to be right in the front, because that's where we take the biggest hits at. Okay, and something else I want to show you here that I noticed. Watch over here what happens at here and here. You're going to see that the density just blows out on both sides at the same time. Watch. See that? Okay, that's coming off our poles. So when it's doing that, it's telling you that we're getting hit pretty decent right there, but it's low dense, okay, because it's white. So hopefully you guys can see that. I'm trying to kind of just keep replaying it so you guys can see it blow off right there. So I'm going to pause it, and you can still see where it's weaker at. Alright, so I do think that our magnetic field is weaker right there. So, you know, so like I said, the darker colors are blue, so that means denser particles are building up there. And in my mind, if you're having denser particles build up in an area, that means that our magnetic field's allowing it to do so. It's not deflecting it. So that's really kind of what I'm saying here. Now, is it like extremely dangerous? You know, only if that gets bigger and bigger and we see it come all the way into our planet, that kind of thing. Remember, we have a good, you know, even after it gets past our bow shock, we still have magnetic protection behind that. Okay, it's still deflecting. That's why everything continuously still goes around us. We're protected all around, okay? Because we do get stuff from behind us sometimes too. And we do deflect it. So just know that. You know, when the Earth's pushing out, it doesn't just push out in one direction. It pushes out in all directions, which is why these low dense events, like what we're seeing right here, I've been noticing that we do see an earthquake uptick when we get these. And what I think's happening is we're not getting pushed on as hard, so we're pushing out. And we're still pushing out all directions. So in my opinion, if we're pushing out magnetically, that could cause things to move. You know, and I've explained it like this. It's kind of like, you know, your uncle, wrestling with your uncle if you're a boy or even a girl when you were a kid, and then he'd stick his hand out there, put his hand on your forehead, and you gotta put a constant pressure there to stay in the same position. Well, he knows that, and you as a kid didn't. And when he wanted you to fall, what'd he do? He just stepped out of the way. He released that pressure, and what'd you do? You shot forward because you were still exerting the same amount of pressure. So the Earth kind of does that. It's pushing against the solar wind, and when the solar wind gets a little bit weaker, we're still pushing just as hard, so we rapidly expand out. So that's kind of what we see a lot of times, and when we see it like do it drastically like this, like go from no density to like 10 and then back down, I mean, wow. I don't know, you know, to me things would just move. You know, I think it could add to some of that. Now, again, I'm not, you know, I have no scientific proof of that other than the observation that I'm making. But if we look at the Australian model, we can see it. Okay? So watch what happens here. First off, I'm going to pause it. This right here is your BZ. Remember, -6 is what we look for, or greater than the negative. If it's -6 or bigger, that means the angle at which the solar wind's hitting us is favorable to come on into our system. It gets in easier. Sometimes, if it's the wrong angle, it will actually help fill in the cracks in our magnetic field. We've actually had that happen, and it helped block a CME that we were supposed to get blasted by, and we didn't because of that. But the density here is right here. Okay, it's at 6 right there. This is the wind speed. Now watch what happens. See the density jumping around? Now I'm going to pause it when it does it big time, because you're going to see it here in just a second. It's going to shoot straight out. Notice how we got compressed right there? Like 16, 17 on the density. Now watch what happens. Boom. Okay? So let me back that up some. This is representing our bow shock. Look at the density. See what the density did? The density went to 0.2. Where was it at? Well, actually look here. Watch this. That says 0. You know what that means? There's always some density, but this graph cannot read it. It's so low. That's your 10th slot. So we're talking about hundredths of a proton density if you want to go to the next one. Okay? So that's what we're talking about here. And it went from, that's 9 to almost nothing in like 2 minutes. That's a really, really big jump, guys. Okay? You know, it's not a big of a jump if you go from 9 to 19, but when you go from 9 to 0, that's huge. Okay? So if I go forward some more here, boom, we go back out like that. See that? And it, like I said, it got so low that we were still pushing. See, that's why we pushed out. We were pushing just as hard when it showed 9, and then when we went to 0 on the density, we were still pushing as hard, and that's why we shot out like that. Okay, it's called compression and rapid expansion. So, you know, we've seen it go off the graph here like this before, which is exactly what it did. The density got so low, we were still pushing just as hard. Our bow shock is way out here. Okay, basically our magnetic field was able to grow a little bit. It wasn't getting confined as much. That's basically what happens right there. So I'm going to push play and we'll finish watching this, see how it's bouncing around, and then it stops, okay, because we started getting some more density here. And also it's the next day. So we'll see what we got here for the 25th. Okay, see how it's become more stable? We're kind of hanging around 3 or 4, and that's normal. So whatever. Hey Ricky, what's up? Ascension, how you doing? Yeah, that's right, we got a strong planet here. Hey Brenda, what's up? So, Sid, my man Sid's in the house. Wolfie with the hoo, that's right. Angelo in the Bronx, baby. But yeah, guys, I mean, you take in consideration all this stuff I just showed you, and then we go look at this. This is the ISWA. First off, let's go to seeds real quick. And this is back on the 23rd. This is that one I was talking about, an interplanetary shockwave. You can see it right here. Okay, we get a CME right there, and then you get a second one right there. And the second one was moving faster than the one in the front. So what's that mean? That means it's going to catch up with the one in the front. And the point at which this catches up, it will cause an interplanetary shockwave. And what that is it's the electromagnetic field of the atoms interacting with the other ones that it's catching up to. They're not actually colliding. Now, a few of them probably are, but what's happening is it's the electromagnetic fields pushing against each other because of opposite polarities. So they're pushing, the speed's pushing them forward, but then they start reacting with each other, and it's like an abrupt slowdown, so it causes like a shock wave. One of them has to win. So it'll cause a little boom. And they were able to catch that last year. Might have even been 2 summers ago now. I can't remember. But they were able to see it visually with one of the models. One of the satellites caught it doing it. And it happened to be in the right position. It was the first time they were able to actually visually see it happen. And it did cause a little shock wave. It wasn't like huge, but it did add extra energy there. So the concern with this is that when we get a CME hitting Earth, if there was one like behind it, or even a solar wind stream that's moving faster, if that connection happens at the exact same time that it's impacting our planet, it could add extra stuff. It could actually make it stronger when it hits us. That's why we talk about it. Okay? Now this is the one from the 23rd. Now we'll go to the 24th, which is today. Well, UTC, it's actually the 25th. Now, you're looking at this probably thinking, well, this ain't much of nothing. Well, you can actually see right here, too, stuff going the wrong way, from right to left, back into the sun. I call it the wrong way, but that could be plasma just moving back in from the stream itself. We've seen filaments reach out and the sun recapture them. So that could be what's going on there, or it could be reacting with something right here. So we always got to keep that in mind. But what I want to show you guys here is, look at these jets that pop off the north and south. Right here, right there, and then down here you'll see them. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. Maybe you guys can see them better. And it happened, it looked like they came right off the poles, right? Well, they probably didn't. What's happening here is, guys, you know, this is the occulter. It blocks the main light of the sun. It's part of the camera. Has to be there, right? Now, this is our view. Okay, say Earth is here. The satellite sits right in front of the Earth, looking at the sun all the time. So this is SOHO, and that's what it does. It orbits with the Earth around the sun, but it's about 1 million miles closer to the sun than what we are. So it gives us our perspective. It's out there basically for a, like almost like an early warning thing. It'll give us like a couple hours of early warning from like a CME or something. But the point here is that when you see jets pop off the front like this, we could have gotten something shot at us, okay? Because whatever was back here, we can't see it. So I went to go look at stereo A to see if it was on the side, because we have a side view we can look at, and this is what I get. No images here. Now it doesn't mean that the data is missing, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to go over here and look and see if it's updated. This is this one. They use the same data. It's just from it's just a different site using the same model even. So let me reset that. And it takes us to 2100 on the 24th, so we get some. Now that happened on the 23rd there. That's the double little CME thing we've seen, and then nothing after that. Now that's still the 23rd there. Okay, yeah. So stereo A is not updating right now, so we're not going to get anything from stereo A, not any kind of real-time data. All right, let me update this one, see what this one does. If this gives us something, that'll be kind of crazy. Let me update this Magnetosphere model real quick too. I haven't did that yet. We'll see what this thing looks like. So let's see how far this will take us. Now, okay, it's giving us some data. Alright. So I'm not really seeing much here. So, you know, hard telling what those jets mean. But we did have an eruption right here. And I showed it to you guys yesterday, I think. It exploded out right here, right in front of us. So we'll have to wait and see if that's actually coming at us. But there's nothing more we can do with that. So anyway, here's the other Magnetosphere model. You know, the sun's off to the right on this one. Notice how, even on this one, it's showing you like there's a weak spot. So if I grab this, let me just go forward. Okay, and it's showing you kind of what, like that Australian model. See, we got compressed, and then we rapidly expand out. See? Okay, so we get hit right there, and now watch the energy just move from right to left. See that? That's what it's supposed to do. And we got hit again, and then it stops. Notice how things are starting to flatten out up here? That typically means we're getting hit pretty hard. Our bow shock will almost become like a flat looking area because we're getting so much stuff from the front. So we'll have to wait and see what actually, you know, pans out from this. But here's the magnetic lines, and that, you know, obviously it's showing us getting hit here. So it doesn't look like too crazy, but it is showing us taking a little bit of a hit here. So yeah. Let's see here. Okay, so over here at Space Weather, this was something cool, guys. They called this green ocean spray. This happens like when they're having high surf at the time of they're seeing green aurora. So when the spray comes off the ocean, it looks green. I thought that was pretty cool. Hey Bob, what's up, bud? I said earlier on today in this video, like I did yesterday, in case you didn't hear me yesterday, man, I appreciate the letter you sent, man. I really do. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hey Giggles, what's up? Laura sees all. Axe in the house.
Answers to life's big and small questions. What can I help you with?
Did you guys hear that? Shut up, Google. I got my stupid Nest thing plugged on.
I understand.
Hey Google, shut up. Yeah, you guys like that? I usually don't even have the stupid thing plugged in, but I was listening to the weather forecast. Yeah, sometimes it'll hear like what it thinks its name is, and it'll do that stupid stuff. Yeah, Well, we also know what else they could probably use it for, but is what it is. Thanks, man. I appreciate that, Bob, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it, Ricky? Yeah, it is kind of nuts. Believe it or not, they sent that thing to me free, because if you're a member of YouTube Prime, they actually gave you a Nest free. Yeah, it does. It starts talking to you. Something like, hey, body and soul, what's up? Good to see you. Obviously, we all have our reservations of even having those things plugged in. But, yeah. Yeah, it is pretty, isn't it, Ascension? Look at that, guys. You know, that Aurora is awesome. And then you got the spray happening at the same time. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. I mean, that's just so awesome. Guys, go over and give spaceweather.com some love, too. They do an awesome job. They really do. You know, those of us that report on these kinds of things like space weather, we don't always agree, but at the same time, you know, we appreciate the work and stuff that's behind all of it. And, you know, I typically agree with almost everything they say over here. There's a lot, there was a couple times that I was kind of a little sideways, but not always, and not very often, actually. They do a great job of having everything in one spot. They do a lot of good stuff over here. Here's the Aurora forecast. They basically were showing you almost everything I was. Now, I really like this here, too. They're showing you just a model. I could show you, too. I could take you over to ISWA and get this model for you. But these are the sunspots. This is saying 2798. I'm wondering if it's calling that a separate sunspot now, because I don't see nothing back here anymore. But we got officially 3 sunspots right now. Yeah, but the X-ray value isn't that high, so they're not very active. So yeah. Noctilucent clouds. These are those clouds that form when water vapor freezes around meteor dust high up in our atmosphere. They happen in the summertime of each different hemisphere. So right now they're on the South Pole, about 6 months. Well, in the summertime in the North, it'll be up there in the North Pole. So these were 2 weeks late this year for some reason. Plus, we've seen it twice in Argentina, which means it was too far north than what we typically see them. It's only been recorded up there like a handful of times, and it happened twice this year. So that's kind of strange. Doesn't mean anything like completely crazy stupid. It just means that something's different, okay? Most likely the temperature, because what would cause more water vapor? The melting of icebergs, right? Ice. So that's kind of what the thought pattern there is, that, you know, that water vapor, there's more of it, so it started getting further up north. Plus, you got to take in consideration our jet streams right now, guys. They're jacked up. They have been now for quite some time. So when that's happening, sometimes the jet stream will actually drag stuff in places it typically isn't. So I think sometimes that jet stream might have pulled some of that meteor dust a little bit further north. So it allowed that water vapor that was already there to freeze around it. So that could be part of it. Gilbert Sard info. I don't know, menacing. Yeah, I'm just not going to... Yeah. We'll move past that, okay? Appreciate that. I mean, I've looked at some of his stuff. But, yeah. But here's the near-Earth objects. And what you get here right now, you know, on the 22nd, we had one at 1.1 lunar distance that missed us. We get down here to where we're at now. Today, on the 25th, hey, Giggles, what's up? Isaiah's granny, what's happening? Elizabeth, Greenie, hey. 555, I said, you already. Ricky. But anyway, we're going to have one that's 1.5 lunar distance from us, which means you go to the moon, and then you go halfway to the moon again. Hey, Willow, one of the best names on the internet right there. That's an awesome name, Willow. Willow Spirit, love that name. Douglas D, what's up? So yeah, I mean, bluegrass, what's happening? But that's, you know, you go to the moon and you go another half distance away. That's how far that one is. So it's, you know, guys, that's still pretty far away. I know they call it a near Earth object, but they're calling it near to us because they're taking in consideration the vastness of space. So that's just what I always try to point that out. But, you know, in the overall view of things, yes, that would be pretty close. A 1.1 or whatever, but when we're looking at these, and I want to point this out too, because this makes a difference, okay, guys? If you get on here and it shows one that is 0.1 lunar distance or even 0.0, okay, that means it can't read it. That doesn't show you anything past the 10th position here. So if it's closer than 0.1, it'll just say 0. Even if that gets into our atmosphere, you got to look at the size of it, okay? So if it's only 5 meters, or like I've seen them say like 1 or 2 meters, most likely nobody would even see it anyway, because it would just get burnt up, and it might just, it probably might even get missed, because you got to understand that our planet's mostly water. So the chances of it going over top of land is a little bit less than what it is to go over top of water where nobody's there to see it. Okay? So we have to understand that we shouldn't make a big deal about something that's that close, because we have stuff actually come closer, like into our atmosphere all the time. I oftentimes see people make a big, huge deal of something. Oh my gosh, near Earth object. But it's only 1 diameter big. You know, who cares if that even comes into our atmosphere? Who even cares? You know what I'm saying? The danger there would be, for me, would be like, I hope it doesn't hit a satellite or hit the space station or something like that. You know what I'm saying? That's the danger for me. I would hate that for that. But the fact of the matter is, a 1 diameter rock that makes it into our system isn't going to do anything. Just saying. So when you see videos out there making a big deal about that, just question what they're saying, okay? At least question that part of what they're saying. You know, I don't want to call it fear mongering, but at a certain level, it becomes fear mongering, or at least upplaying something that really isn't that big of a deal. But you notice here that they only had 3 fireballs reported, which means we're kind of in a quiet part right now of space. Now that could change overnight, just so you know. But right now, these are reported ones too. That means somebody's seen them, or an observatory might have seen them. But understand, the CESS, which is the agency that actually plots these things, it's not given. There's three main telescopes that they use, and they're Earth based or whatever. And let's just face it, guys, you can't see the whole sky. So there's stuff there. That's why we see fireballs reported, and they weren't plotting them here. That's why. That's also why sometimes you'll come on here and they'll add stuff to this list that is like days behind. Like today, for example, if today's the 24th, right? Say this one here on the 20th wasn't there yesterday, but it's there today. That means it's already past us. And they just now seen it going the other direction. So what I'm saying is, it's like, again, the Billy Bob Thornton line on Armageddon, the movie Armageddon, where he says, "Begging your pardon, Mr. President, it's a big ass sky." I mean, let's face it, it's a big ass sky. I mean, what else can we say? You know, you're not going to catch them all, especially when we've only got one agency really kind of tracking all this with 3 telescopes. Now there was another one, the SSS, and it was that's another agency. I think it was in Australia, I believe, and they got defunded back in 2013, so they've been shut down since then. So it's even made it less viewable. So yeah, so that's what I would say there. And And I think, guys, I think Scott posted a video too. I haven't had a chance to watch anything today, guys, just so you know. We can go over here and let's do this. And yeah, I'm not going to show the video because I want you guys to go over and check it out. Matter of fact, I think I did see this. Yeah. No, actually, no, I didn't see this one. Okay. But obviously, he's talking about it. Showed an object showed up during that last ejection I was just showing you guys. Here's the link to his video, guys. Go check it out. I need to go check it out myself. I don't know why it didn't show up on my notifications. It might have. I've been kind of off grid today, guys. Just spending time with my family. But again, I'll go ahead and post the link here again. There's a link to his video, guys. Go check that out. It looks pretty cool. Looks like he caught some pretty good stuff there. Okay. And again, guys, obviously he's catching stuff. Guys, he's running a restaurant right now. So the fact that he's not putting out as much as much content as he used to, it's because he can't. All right, just know that. Real life comes into play here. If he could have afforded to stay on YouTube all the time, back in the day before adpocalypse happened here on YouTube, it would have been a lot easier, but now he can't because of everything that goes on. And how do we beat that? How do we beat all that, guys? I've got a couple ideas. I've been talking to some creators in the background. I've got an idea on how to beat that algorithm, just so everybody knows. So if you see a community channel kind of pop up somewhere, that might be Wages World kind of running that thing. We'll just have to wait and see. My idea, let me know what you guys think about this idea. See if you guys think this would work. That if we had stuff to talk about that we know we can't say certain words or even report on because the algorithm will kill it, what if we made a video using all those words, any of that stuff, and we posted it on a channel that was private? And then during our video, we would send everybody a link, or I would post the link to that video. And then you guys could go watch it through that privated link. It wouldn't be a private video, but it would, to YouTube, it would look like it was private. And they don't censor those, because it's private. So I was just curious about that, because there wouldn't be any kind of monetization being able to get off of that kind of a thing, because they can't put ads on a private video. So that might be might be a way for those of us that are trying to report truth or whatever, that kind of hits all those stupid algorithm words that buries a video. It might be a way for us, when we have something like that we want to talk about, to go ahead and put a link out like that, start a channel, and have everybody come watch a private video. And what would happen was the video would only stay up for 12 hours or whatever. Then we'd have to pull it back down. So you'd have 12 hours to really go see that. And the advantage to that would be we could say and do pretty much whatever we wanted, to some extent, okay? We wouldn't have to worry too much about the words that we're saying that's going to hit the algorithm. Plus, it wouldn't be behind a paywall. You wouldn't have to go to some private network and see it. I don't know. It just I've just been trying to figure out a way to get around that, because it's not just affecting us here, guys. It's everywhere now. All genre. It's ridiculous. So, how do you make people's names highlighted in orange? Oh, Willow, if you put at, here I'll show you. Just watch my chat box right here. I'll pull it over here in the middle. If you put the at sign and you put in whoever you want to talk to, we'll go to yours. Watch. Oops. See how your name pops up? You click on that. Watch what happens when I send it to you, Willow. It'll be orange just for you. Now when they're putting it, when they put my name up there, everybody's going to see it as orange because you guys are watching my chat. If you look in your own chat box, that won't be orange. So that's what I would say. That's how you do it. Just put at and whatever, and it's basically when you're talking to a specific person, it lets them know that you're talking to them. So yeah. Yep. There you go. Good to see you, Kathleen. Is it yellow? Okay. Hey, Teresa. Oh, is it? Okay. It might be because I'm running the channel here. Yeah, you're probably right. It's yellow. Okay. Cool. But yeah. So you guys like that idea? You like that, Maria? You know, kind of kick that around, guys, and just let me know if you guys. Thanks, Hacksaw. Appreciate that. It won't work. You got to put at. Make sure you put at, and then type in. You have to actually type it in how it's spelled and the capitalization, how they got it in their names. If you don't do that, it won't work that way. But that's how it goes across over to them. When I type it in, it's not going to show up. Okay, see when I put your name here, it's not going to show up in orange for me. So when you type in somebody's name, it won't be orange for you. See? There you go. You did it. There you go. Yeah, you guys like that idea? Maybe leaving a video up for 12, 14 hours or something, privated. And the only way you guys will know that we're going to private a video is if you watch our video anyway. Because we'll have to tell you guys, hey, here's the link. So, yeah, you got it, Willow. You got it. So, you know, I'm going to talk to a few other creators, and if they're willing to do something like that, I would be willing to run the channel. It wouldn't be any kind of money involved. It would just be something that we want to get certain information out that we feel is really important, and we don't want to put a paywall in front of it like a private network. So hopefully that, you know, if I can get that going and people want to get on board with that, you know, hopefully it might work. You know, I don't know if it will or not, but I guess we could give it a try. You know, I just don't know what else to do, guys. I really wish we could just come out here and say what we had to say and just keep moving. But they won't let us do that anymore. It's unfortunate, but that's what it is, guys. It really is unfortunate because, yeah. Let's see here. I do want to show you I'm going to show you guys something here. Ricky hadn't posted a video in a minute, but she's got a channel, guys. Go over and sub up to her. She talks about earthquakes and stuff. She's really knowledgeable about that stuff, guys. So go check her out over here at Ricky's channel. Let's do this. Pause. Share. There's Ricky's channel. If you guys ain't subbed to her, go over and do that. I mean, you guys will be better off for it, for sure. She's showing helioplots here, so she knows what she's talking about when she's reading these things. Does a great job. I want to point out Rip's channel, too. I'm going to try to give Rip a call tomorrow. Guys, he does a lot of preparedness stuff, okay? He ate these MREs, just enough to keep him. You know, these are the ones that are meant just to keep you alive. He ate them yesterday, one that was even overdue. He was going to see if it would actually keep him from being hungry. And I think he kind of come to the conclusion that It did. So if you guys haven't been over to Rip, he puts a lot of humor into his stuff too, guys. It's really entertaining. So there's his link. Go check him out. I'm going to have him on my channel here very, very shortly. And then Ron, of course, Ron. I mean, you guys can't miss Ron, guys, okay? Where's he at? He might be live right now. Oh, there he is. Here's Ron's channel. Obviously, earthquake information, preparedness stuff that he talks about. Ricky pointed him out to me, and ever since then, I've been going over, and me and Ron's talked quite a few times through text and stuff. Here's his link. Go check him out. Emergency Management Associates. Axe has got a channel, guys. Listen, we got to support each other, okay? We really do, because you know that booby tube ain't gonna help. We gotta understand that, okay? So I'm just gonna push pause here, and you know, that was Nacho right there. That's Rip. That's Axe's wife. So let me put paste here. So go sub up to Axe's channel too, guys. Show them some love. You know, not everything has to be serious, and they're over here playing music and being funny, and it's great over here, guys. It really is. And then obviously, my boy Mark. Okay? If you guys don't know who Mark is by now, I talk about him all the time. Do yourself a favor. He hasn't live tonight yet, but he will be. Okay? Do yourself a favor, stop into the live stream, because I'll be over there in the chat. I'll send out a notification when he goes live. But guys, this is a great way to get positivity back and get rid of all the negative crap that we see. He does celebrity impersonations. He does all kinds of stuff. I wish I could show everybody's channels every video, guys, but I just can't. It takes too much. But obviously, you guys know who Scott is, Planet X News. I just sent a video out for him, guys. And there's a lot. You know, Russell, he's down here. He's doing time-lapse videos, our skies today. Where's he at? Right here. Go check him out. He's doing a lot of good time, a lot of good stuff over there with time lapse watching. These are his own cameras. This isn't something that isn't, that's his own stuff. So once I've got things sorted on my end, I'll throw. Okay, cool. Sounds good, Justin. Yeah, guys, I mean, again, guys, I really wish I could show everybody's video every time. I just, yeah, it's impossible. But the thing is, guys, when I suggest you a channel, I actually watch those channels. I will not suggest a channel to go watch if I don't go there myself. Okay? So why does he post so many videos in one night? What he does is, and the reason why he does that, Pascaline, is because he does he takes the live stream from the day before, where he will write music and stuff during that live stream. Anybody that watched the live stream the night before will have seen pretty much what he's posting the next day. So he does that so everybody can see the songs and stuff again without having to watch the live stream. So that's why he does that. And and Axe said it perfect right there. Community love is the only way to build subs. Okay? And that's why. And that's what we have to do, Let me say this too. We don't always have to 100% agree with what everybody is saying or doing. That's called an echo chamber. Okay? That doesn't mean that just because you might disagree on something somebody's saying, it doesn't mean that there ain't other good information there. Alright? So just know that. So whenever we're promoting a channel or trying to get people to go watch and all that kind of stuff, it just kind of crazy. Hey Don, what's up? Good to see you. I just want you guys to, you know, because when we talk about what we talk about here, guys, it's negative information, okay? In the sense that, what we're showing you is important information, but it is, I'm trying to figure out the way to put this. The end result of what we're talking about isn't the greatest thing to think about, okay? Let's just face it. Let's just be real about it, you know? That's what it is. And I try to do it in a way that isn't such a, you know, a downer or a drag to come listen to. I try to add a little humor to it whenever I can. I try to be positive, you know. Just because we're having stuff happen or catastrophe stuff could happen, doesn't mean that we have to be, hateful and mean and mad all the time. It just means that now we have a step up because we're aware. So when the stuff does happen, okay, who's going to be more prepared? Those of us that have heard it before. We're not going to have that knee-jerk, reaction. Yeah, I know, Jill. I usually do. Me and my wife plugged it in just to see what the forecast was today, and I just forgot to unplug it. But yeah. Yeah, I know. So yeah. Hey, Carolyn, what's up? Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. So, hey, Veronica, what's up? Oh, from Sweden. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Bobby, Paula, Kathleen. So yeah, guys, and that's why I push you guys to the marks, and that's why I push you everywhere else I push you. And let me just say this one more time. Most people will not go back to a YouTube channel if it isn't at least a little entertaining. If it's dry, just straight, just nothing, no interaction, no anything to like draw your attention, are you really going to go back? You guys see what I'm saying? It just it just doesn't work that way, guys. For me, when I'm surfing like YouTube or any social platform for that matter, if I'm not drawn in by something and it doesn't hold my attention, I think it's just like whatever, I'm not going back. So that's why we try to add a little entertainment to it sometimes. We don't have to add all this other bull crap, but we don't have to be so fear-monger, so negative to the point where it's like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world, go cry in a corner somewhere. No, we shouldn't act like that. We just shouldn't. All that does is scare people. And take another little piece of something I figured out a long time ago. Don't ever set a date, okay? Please, just don't. Tell people, hey, things might be happening soon. Say that all day long. But please don't set a specific date, because you're only going to be right one time. That's the only time you're going to be right. You see what I'm saying? And what happens is, when somebody says a date about something, that date comes and goes, where's their credibility? And what you'll see is, most people that are actually just setting dates because they're trying to get people in there, they'll keep moving the goalpost. They'll come on a day before that date or something and say, oh my gosh, something's changed. Now, now we got to move it to this day. Then we got to keep moving it and moving it and moving it. And then that's what their channel becomes. Nothing but moving the date. And it just, I just don't think it's the right thing to do. Even if you wholeheartedly believe that something's going to happen on that day. Just urge people, hey, yes, let's pay attention to this day, but don't say that the world's going to end on that day. Because if you do something like that and it doesn't happen, And the whole time is you should be hoping that it doesn't happen. You know? If I'm ever going to be wrong about something, I hope it's about the day that the world ends. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's just what it is. But I do think that we do have certain things happening, and we've talked about that a lot here on this channel. We will continue to do so. And that's why we do it, to eliminate that fear through awareness. If you're aware that something could happen, and when it does happen, you make a better decision because you're not so scared. It's not a shock. So, yeah. So, yeah, guys, I am going to go ahead and get off here. I appreciate all you guys. I really do. I guess I could do this one more time real quick. I really do appreciate the support, guys. You know, like I said, I need it just like anybody else does, and it's not expected, okay? Never. But it is appreciated. Just know that. All right. So there's my PayPal link, and no more about that. So, I love all you guys. I really do. Thank you for all the emails and stuff, guys. I'm getting a lot of good questions through the emails. A lot. Yeah, sorry you're late, Veronica. I'm sorry. So yeah, guys. So there again, there's my PayPal link in there if you want to help me out. If not, all's good. I am keeping a list. So if you don't want to be on that list where I'm going to post it, like a thank you at the beginning of my video, please make sure you put that in the notes when you PayPal me or whatever, or send me a through my post office box. That's all in my description. Okay. So that would, you know, like I said, if you don't want your name on there, I get that. I only use first name and last initial. So thanks, Bob. I appreciate that, man. Oh, is he live now? Okay. I guess hold on a minute, guys. Don't go nowhere. Let's do this. If he's live right now, I'll just, there he is. I'll put the link down here. Alright, let's go give him a Wages Love Bomb real quick at the beginning of the show. He won't know what to do if we do that at the beginning. Let's all go over there, guys. Alright, let's pump him up. Let's give him some love, alright? Alright, guys. I love you guys. God bless. Yahusha saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.